Yo, what's happening with what's happening?
Welcome to What's Happening. I'm Brad.
I'm Fred.
So shall we talk about what's happening? What's happening with you, bro?
Not much chilling, man. Just went to Ohio this past weekend for my best friend's bachelor party. Sat back, kicked it, got faded like I was in high school. Not high school, college, but yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, throw out the legal disclaimer. I was 18.
Yeah, 21, shit. Nah, I'm just saying, I wasn't planning on having no hangover. I was sticking to my guns, and then somebody, bought the bachelor a round of shots for the party, and then somebody else, and there you go, two different drinks that you're not drinking, mixed into what you're drinking, and yeah.
Next thing you know, you drinking.
I'm done. I'm going to bed. It's a wrap. I'm old. I was drinking.
So this beyond me. Shout out to Ha Davis, man. But yeah, man, that sound like y'all had a good time, man. I'm getting ready to head out of town on Friday, flying out to New Orleans, So I'm a little geeked about that. My little 1-day work trip, you know what I'm saying? Boss lady was like, "Hey, I need you to go." And I was like, "Okay, let's go." And so I'm going. And
Mardi Gras.
I wasn't gonna put that part out there, but you know what I'm saying? All right, so story time with your boy. We ain't did story time with your boy in a minute. But so all right, I travel sometimes for work. Like I just told y'all, my boss called and said, "Hey, I need to. We got this project that we need done in New Orleans. Any chance you can go take care of it?" Absolutely. A personal goal for me is I want to get my feet on the soil of every state before I die. And I've never been to Louisiana, so I'm going to get my feet on the soil. And just like the airports don't count, like I got to get my feet on the soil. So like I've been to the airport in Phoenix, that doesn't count. And I've been to the airport in DC, that doesn't count. But like I stopped and used the restroom in Indiana on my way to Chicago. That does count. I'm weird.
I don't blame you.
That's how I got to get my feet on the soil. But anyway, so she calls me and says, "We need you to go." And I said, "All right, I'll go." And this was a couple weeks ago. She says, "All right, I just need you to get it done before the end of February." Now, at the time that she and I are having this conversation, first off, the way my schedule works with my family dynamic, it's going to have to be on the weekend that I go. And I have no problem with that at all. It's got to be on the weekend that I go. The weekend that was coming up, I already had a trip planned. I had a training session planned, so I couldn't go. The week after that, there's another training session planned, and I couldn't go. That leaves just this upcoming weekend for me to go. Okay, I got it open. I'll move the schedule around. I'm going to make it work. Now, it's kind of a last minute thing, so I'm trying to get plane tickets, and I'm going to plan a trip right. I'm going to get the plane ticket first. Once I figure out the plane, then I'll figure out the rental car, then I'll figure out the hotel. So I get the plane ticket. Plane ticket is, I wanted to fly out Saturday morning, but there was just no way for it to work on Saturday. There was no way for me to get home on Sunday. It was either get, if I would have flown in Saturday, I would have had to get back to the airport within like 2 or 3 hours. It just wasn't going to work out. It was just impossible. So then I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and head out on Friday. So I get the plane, figure out the Friday flight. It's a little earlier than I wanted it, but whatever. It is what it is. Got my Friday flight. Boom, right? Get the flight booked. I take the cheapest ticket possible because it's the last minute. Got to make sure I keep the, keep the expenses intact.
Right.
So then I go and get a rental car. It doesn't really matter. I'm not carrying a bunch of stuff. It's just gonna be a car for me to use for one day. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna go ahead and just get a car that's gonna be a decent price. It's gonna be comfortable. Get that. Then it's time to get a hotel room. And we have a dollar limit of what we're allowed to expense per night for a hotel room,
Right.
like what the rate can be. And first off, everything is sold out. Everything is sold out. And then when I finally find something that's not sold out, the cheapest room available is almost double the amount that I'm allowed to expense.
Right.
So I reach out to her and I'm like, hey, this is the lowest price. And she's like, well, you know what? If you got to do it in March, like it's fine. It is what it is. And I'm like, well, listen, like I already bought a non-refundable plane ticket.
Right.
Like what? And this is like the company card, you know what I'm saying? So like I've already like that's it. It's over with. And she's like, all right, you know, I wonder if something's going on. And like legit, like if y'all listen to this, well, y'all already heard Fred say Mardi Gras, but like I legit am just not even thinking about the fact that it's Mardi Gras. Like I'm not thinking about that time of year. Again, I've never been to Louisiana for that matter.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, you just gotta. It just is what it is. I mean, it's kind of last minute. The client asked us to do this kind of last minute. We weren't prepared for it, so they just have to deal with it because they wanted it done.
Right.
Okay. And then she texts me back about 10 minutes later, goes, that's Mardi Gras. And I'm like, all right. And so now that's the running joke is between my boss and all the other superiors is that, yeah, we're sending Brad on an all expensive paid company trip to Mardi Gras.
Yeah, they all saw it. Somebody else should have took that one.
Listen. Any of them could have gone.
Again.
Listen, never again. But you know what though? I am excited. I haven't been on a plane since right before COVID was declared. Before COVID was declared a global pandemic. Man, listen, I could not get that out there, could I? Man, I'm gonna keep that one in just to make everybody laugh. But I haven't been on the plane since early March 2020. I think March 6th of 2020 was the last time I've been on a plane. So it's been almost 2 years, bro. I'm a little excited just for that piece alone. But and y'all ain't gotta worry about it. We still gonna get you your Whus Hattnin on time. 6 a.m. every Wednesday talking about something new. And I'm excited for what we got going on in March. I'm not gonna tell y'all just yet. But after this week's episode, I mean, I hope y'all enjoy every episode, but I'm real excited for what we got lined up for March. And March it's important that I say it's March. So that's a little bit of a clue of what the theme is going to be about. But before we talk about March, let's talk about what we got going on. So last week, we really, kind of unpacked our thoughts on Joe Rogan and, what that situation was looking like. And then, the week prior to that, we talked about the Brian Flores situation. And time again, as these different scandals or stories or news articles or what have you, as these different things come up, it requires you to review your standing or your feelings on a person or an entity. It makes you rethink stuff. One thing that the internet has done is, and rather the axis of the internet is that we know so much about so many people, and you see the things that you aren't supposed to see. And now, I guess what we want to crack into is how do you deal with that, right? How do you deal with learning things about, unsavory characters or people that you may have admired or loved or people that inspired you, and then you learn that they've done something or they've said something or they've taken a stance, and it's just like, ooh. And I guess what we want to call it this episode is, how do you separate the art from the artist, or do you separate the art from the artist? And what really inspired me to really take the conversation down this path is Kanye West, bro. So for me, I have been unapologetic for years. I will tell anybody that Kanye West is my favorite rapper, period. And you take Kanye West's body of work, you can take, for me, you could take his first 3 albums, College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation. And to me, you could take those his 3 albums and you could put it up against anybody else's 3 albums, any three, and Kanye's gonna win. I see your face like, that's kind of a spicy take. Kanye for me,
that's a whole nother episode. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Kanye. What I'm saying is that I don't want. I know, but what I'm saying is that so like for me, when it comes to hip hop, Kanye is the GOAT, right? And I will tell and I always say, like, if you want to say like what he's done the last, whatever time period kind of takes that away, fine. Kanye from 2003 to 2012, you ain't touching him as far as I'm concerned, right? But how do I deal with that and then deal with the things that he's done, the things that he's become, right? You'll get into it here, but you are, since the day I've known you, you're a massive fan of R. Kelly. Love that man's work. How do you separate his art from him, and or can you separate his art from him?
I most definitely can.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it ain't had nothing to do with me. Yeah, plain and simple. I'm not listening. Listen, discrediting anything that may be factual about what he did outside of making music. What I'm saying is, my bond with R. Kelly is with music. I can tell you right now, if he had any other business outside of music, I never supported it. I never knew about it. My bond with him was with music. And that's how I separated. Like, he made great music. I mean, he, is arguably, top 5 all time R&B greatest, even after both scandals.
Both? I feel like he had more than 2.
I mean, only 2 that I know he went to trial behind. Okay. That's what I'm going. That's why I say, like, it has nothing to do with me. I don't put anybody in a box, or until they put themselves in it. You know what I mean? So, like, for you to say, like, oh, well, I feel like he had more. It ain't got nothing to do with me to feel like or anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be this man's judge. I don't feel like that's my place. You know what I'm saying? My place is to take what I like, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I take from what I need from it. You know what I'm saying? I think we get too involved sometimes with these people who, truthfully, they don't make or break us. I mean, yeah, we could be influenced by them, but in the same token, if you're gonna say we influenced by them, or they lead our culture, or whatever you want to try to say, I'm just gonna go to the old saying. Oh, so if he jump off a bridge, you gonna jump too? You know what I mean? So I think that's just, sometimes we just gotta take what is helping us, you know what I'm saying, or what we need from a person. You know what I'm saying? It might sound selfish or greedy, but it can't be when you truly don't know these people. And then when you want to talk about media and internet that has gave us a broader scope or bigger glass window to look through to know more about these people, I think sometimes that's how we get overly involved as well. because we shouldn't have that much access to one's life. That is just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, kind of going back to that point, I think we can even dip back into our divisiveness episode. It's, because we think what we've said before is humans are simplistic in nature, because we're so simple in thinking, is that it's like, all right, let's just go back to the politics piece, right? Oh, you don't vote for Trump, so the conversation that I said, a friend of mine, yeah, where he was like, oh, obviously, you're just, this is what you think, this is who you are, and we just don't need to have a conversation anymore, right? We probably don't even have that political conversation if not for Facebook. Now, that said, I haven't seen that person in real life since 2010. We have no means of contact if not for Facebook either. So it's like, that's like the good and the bad, right?
It is.
But yeah, and kind of moving back into like, like, how do we deal with it? Man, for me, I've been like a Kanye defender for years. And I've been saying to everybody, like, yo, ever since his mom passed, that was literally like the moment. It was like his mom passed and dude changed. And this whole thing that this whole thing with him and Kim Kardashian going through this divorce, and dude is pretty much like openly stalking her.
Okay, so look, I ain't gonna sit here and act like I didn't follow this, a whole bunch, but I see, comments on Facebook, I see little posts and articles and whatnot. And here's my thing. Tell me how many people, not even just on the divorce side, but just as boyfriend and girlfriend, every day, been in the same situation at least once. You gotta have 10 or so acquaintances you just seen basically do this same exact stuff.
Not to the degree at which
money makes the difference in that. That's it. And see, that's why I say we're overly involved with these people. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the type of money to move next door, you know what I'm saying, at the drop of a dime, or buy a neighbor out of their house if that's what it took. So we can't say that. But here's my thing. You're a married man. Right?
Yeah.
You got 3 kids?
4.
If right now you and Steph split, get a divorce, how close do you want to be to your family?
Very much.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? How much will you try to still be influential, you know what I'm saying, in the decision that's made into your children's lives?
I'm in there.
So
they're my kids, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, but because of the manner that he's doing it in, and because of the publicity that he gets for it, he's crazy. But Right now, it's the girl right now that's about to get her taxes, been trying to get rid of her dude since December 30th, and he still ain't gone. But he's not stalking.
You gotta bring the taxes into this.
I mean, I'm just saying though, with or without the taxes, it's somebody been trying to get away from they man. You know what I'm saying? For the last 3 years, I done heard women talking about I done left state, I done left my house, my family, trying to get away from him, and he still finds me.
But so here's the thing, like, because I see what you're saying, but going back to what I was saying earlier, you know, saying, hey, Kanye's been like this ever since his mom passed. Absolutely no disrespect intended. His mom's been gone almost 15 years, if not 15 years. So, like, there's a pattern of erratic behavior involving him, right? And it's how long can you ignore it? Or how long can you make excuses for it? And I guess I'm saying, and maybe it's not making excuses for it, because I mean, a year ago I wouldn't have said I was making excuses for Kanye, but like I'm looking at this and just like,
but
damn, bro.
Here's the thing: you're involved, but you don't know the case in point. Okay, yeah, there's been a lot of erratic behavior. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's been, you know what I'm saying, 15 years or close to. It's been 11 years since my lady lost her mom. And there's still patterns of behaviors that, you know, am I making excuses for it? By any means, I'm not. I'm cold-hearted, you know, if most people probably would say, because feel like where you were believe was going is that like at some point you need to do something about it. But how much trauma, you know what I'm saying, do you think he's dealing with outside of just that? You know what I mean? It's not just the erratic behaviors. I think that's how he deals and cope with situations that, you know what I'm saying, brings on whatever that significant trauma is that was kind of similar to the loss of losing his mother, like losing his family. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not making excuses because by any means, like I said, he's not, you know, favorite rapper of mine or anything of that nature. But, you know, sometimes I think we just like to have something to talk about. Because if it was us in our situation, we would want somebody to be more trying to figure out why does the erratic behavior keep happening versus trying to, you know what I'm saying, label me and put me in a box because I keep doing erratic things. But we not quick to help one another.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's the issue with it. You know, that's how I can separate the art from the artist. If Kanye is, you know what I'm saying, that person that, you know what I'm saying, helped you, you know what I'm saying, maybe cope or what have you, or for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, his art is what, you know what I'm saying, you gravitated to. The rest of it, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's even rightful for us to even have an opinion on necessarily. You know, if you feel like you have to have an opinion on something that's beyond the art, then can you say you can separate the art from the artist? No, you can't. Not everybody can be biased in a situation. You know, so I mean, that's just me. That's how I, with any, you know what I'm saying, artist, or, you know, whether you're an actor or however, you know what I'm saying, whatever you do, I feel like a lot of times we insert ourselves into things that have nothing to do with us. How they divorce going, the stuff he doing, you know, the same with R. Kelly. You know, that's my dog. I'm not making excuses, but in a sense, until you want to talk about the parents that handed their children over, I don't want to talk. I mean, I listen to you, but I don't want to talk because obviously you're not open enough to look at the full picture. That, you know, these parents is just as much to blame for why these kids are in these situations and, you know what I'm saying, doing these different things and having different type of pressure on them from young ages because they were looking at the money. But yeah, every time the cards fold, they walk away scot-free, got paid all the way up until they couldn't get paid no more. And nobody says nothing. They catching, you know what I'm saying, deals for giving them this person and that person, but how is that fair? And for us to voice ourselves in the situation, staying one-sided, that's not right. And you still have to separate, you know what I'm saying, what he did, okay. What he did is dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. I personally wouldn't have took my daughters to him, but I guess that's another story. But it was dead wrong at the end of the day. But I should still, you know what I'm saying, be able to go and look up his music. He shouldn't lose royalties to his music and things he created. You know, or trying to hit him in his pockets because you know, oh, you did this, you did that. But I grew up in the era where I don't know how many times I heard a woman say, I don't care what R. Kelly do to me. Or, well, you need to quit messing with them young girls, come get him a real one. You wouldn't hear me complaining. But then this stuff here comes out and it's like, oh, he wrong, he nasty, he trifling, you know what I'm saying? He this, he that, he's evil.
I don't think anything you're saying is wrong, but I feel that when people use those whataboutisms, you know, that kind of scapegoats bad behavior.
I'm not saying whataboutisms. What I'm saying is call it fair across the board. That's all I'm saying. Don't go after one, go after all. Everybody that had a hand in that. You know what I'm saying? That way, now it probably wouldn't be a thing or something that people try as much because the parents is like, nah. You see what happened to a girl and their mama? It ain't worth all of that. You know? So, therefore, you know what I'm saying, the same token for him, his managers and them be, you know, hey, nah, I'm not gonna go recruit it. That's what you gonna do, then I'm gonna just go ahead and take myself about this situation. I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let them know. You know what I mean? Like we won't have this coming back on me later. I'm talking every single person. Because it is more than just him to this.
And you're not.
And that's what I said. It's not the what about. It's the everybody. Quit playing sides and picking sides and favorites.
See, and you're not wrong, but I also feel like there's levels to it. And what I'm saying is that like some things are going to bother people more than others. And so and a person like just naturally, whether it's right or wrong, that's not what I'm trying to debate. But a person in a position of power such as R. Kelly, at a position of fame, I should say, that person is going to garner more attention and therefore garner much more vitriol than the unknown Billy Bob who allow their child to be involved with someone like R. Kelly. And I should say that we're not condemning anybody. We're having a conversation. Y'all know that by now.
And I agree, but I do want to stick this point in there that it still reverts back to, you know what I'm saying, the parents. It's kind of like Cardi B said, she don't let, you know what I'm saying, her daughter listen to her music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These people wouldn't garner the attention if you know what I'm saying, the people who were supposed to be policing those or keeping it, you know what I'm saying, in the realm of who it's intended for, that will also help. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but what I'm saying is it's just not equal.
And I mean, I guess because that's life. Ain't nothing equal, huh? That's what we've been fighting for forever.
Yeah, there you go. But when you have like what I still have it in my Netflix queue. I haven't watched it yet, but there's that Surviving R. Kelly, and I don't know how we made this an R. Kelly podcast. He's just the example that we're using. But I remember like that Surviving R. Kelly series that was on Lifetime. I know it's on Netflix. It's in my queue. I'll watch it one day. But there was how many girls in that series sharing their stories?
Sure, I didn't really watch it all. I ain't gonna sit here in front. It might have been. I want to say.
I feel like it was 16.
I was gonna say 9 or 16. It was like them two numbers and just two was the two set numbers I had.
And so when you look at like that many people being impacted over that amount of time, like at some point, I mean, yes, like if it's 16 people, then you know there's 16 parents and or 16 sets of parents that need to be held accountable. But those 16 parents or sets of parents lead to one monster. And that's the thing. So it's like, we'll say like, yeah, we need to all come after them. I can't tell you the name of none of these girls. That's the other thing too. I can't tell you the name of none of these girls that were impacted. I can't tell you the name of the parents of any of these girls that were impacted. But I can tell you the name of Robert Kelly.
But here's the thing too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say any other names, but these same women and kids wasn't just after him. They was at a few different shows, few different, you know what I'm saying, studios and whatnot. They tried to, you know what I'm saying, they rolled not, you know what I'm saying, with just him. It was his thing. So, you know, it was easier to get in. And that was the, you know what I'm saying, sick and unfortunate part about it. You know. But as we know, he's not by himself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's definitely by himself. He's definitely not by himself. So I mean,
he's just the one that got caught. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't think it should be. and this is all artists, you know what I'm saying? Bill Cosby, Kanye, you know, hell, just all of it. I mean, even when, you know what I'm saying, Chris Brown and Rihanna was going through their situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can say what you want, but they was young. Whoever was the ones that should have been guiding and influencing.
You know what it really is?
That culture.
It's really, as humans, we can find the reasons to make excuses for people that we like. If we like them enough, we'll make excuses for them. So we've shared this before, right? But I'm a nerd. I like wrestling, right? And I'm gonna tell a little wrestling story. Y'all stick with me. I'm gonna make it make sense. If you are a human, you probably know the name Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, right? That's your guy, right? Me, I don't care for Stone Cold. I should make this a video. Fred's face is like, bro, you tripping. Here's my thing. All right.
I'm being a guy.
Rock with me for a minute. Here's the deal. In case you didn't know, breaking news right here on Whus Hattnin. Wrestling is scripted. Right? Okay. So Stone Cold never put people over. And what I mean by putting people over, he never took a loss that elevated a new star. Anytime he took a loss, it was made to look like they shouldn't have won, or it was by somebody that was established, so he didn't lose any credibility and he didn't help anybody grow, right? And that's the way wrestling works: is you get your time in the spotlight, and then you start to give stuff back, so that way it keeps going. All right. Always just kind of never really rock with him for that reason. And then he was married to Deborah. If you're a wrestling fan, you may know who that was. He was married to her in real life. They had a situation.
Was she with the Big Balboski?
Maybe she was. No, she was rocking with Jeff Jarrett. Jerry Lawler used to come out, and when she come out, Jerry Lawler was like, "Puppies!" Talk about her breasts. But they were married in real life, and then she had to press charges or something to that effect. He was slapping her around, like they had an argument. He got physical with her, and then shortly after that, they divorced. Right now, this is like 20 years ago that this happened. Right. Already didn't really rock with him on the wrestling side. So once that happened, I'm just like, man, whatever. Like nobody, but like if you listen to wrestling, if you watch wrestling, it's, oh my God, Stone Cold, he's the greatest, he's the biggest star ever. He saved the WWF when it was about to flounder, right? Nobody talks about that piece. Now, obviously, murder is more egregious than domestic violence, right? So kind of a bad comparison, but to stick in the wrestling, stick in that wrestling world, Chris Benoit, if you guys know that name, he was supposed to show up for a show, didn't show up. The next night, it's announced, the next day in real life news, it's announced that he, his wife, and his son have been murdered. And they had like that was a Monday night. They had like a whole thing where they did tributes to him, honored him, blah, blah, blah. The very next night, they're filming their next show. And by the time the next day comes, it's come out that this is actually a murder-suicide. He killed his wife, he killed his son, and then he committed suicide himself. And they haven't mentioned that man since that day.
Damn.
They literally came out the next day and was like, we've learned this, like, we're done with it. His name has not been mentioned ever since, right? So, and again, I know murder is obviously more egregious than domestic violence, right? The point that I'm making is that the greatest, the most important superstar ever his little aggression, we just gonna slide that up under the rug. I mean, even I'll stay in the wrestling piece, a whole tirade of Hulk Hogan came out pulling a Joe Rogan like 6 or 7 years ago, just N-word. He had like a Legends contract with the WWE, and they was like, nope, we're done with that. Slowly but surely, they started ingratiating him back in. Oh, people forgot he said the N-word by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, like, we can figure out ways to make excuses and make stuff work for the people that we like. And that seems to be, how we operate. For example, me, right? I just got done talking about how Kanye has clearly had erratic behavior, but I've been defending the Miz because his mama died. He's still the greatest rapper of all time. Like that's me. That's who I've been, right? We make it. We find ways to feel comfortable, right? I mean, even with our politics, right? I know some people say, I don't like Donald Trump, but his policies, it just kind of works for me. I know he's rude. I know he's brash. I know he's an asshole. I've heard people say that all the time, but like, I like his policies, right? And so we find ways to deal with the things that we don't like. And it's really just excuse making, if we're being honest. We find ways to make excuses to support and to stomach the things that the people that we like and the things that we like until we literally just can't do it anymore. And I think that's the answer.
That's usually what happens. That's how it goes. I think with a lot of those big headline cases, it's really a swing in the popularity in the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, basically, if it's your first time, popularity probably swing that, you should get a chance. Everybody's going to back you up. They're not going to believe it. Second or third time this come out, a lot of proof, evidence. Before you know it, this person's being locked up. Everybody's kind of like, yeah, that's what they need. That's what they deserve. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes me think: is it more of a matter of, depending on the person, it just takes a lot?
Well, yeah,
to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, of course. And I wouldn't. It would have to depend on the person.
Beyonce could get away with anything, right?
Easy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like MJ. You know what I'm saying? Like it. You know what I'm saying? MJ. I mean, as far as we know, at least nothing stuck ever.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So something to say, and I mean and you want to talk about erratic behavior, but it was MJ. He had a rough life. Childhood, was rough growing up with his dad.
Yeah.
He was abusive. So that's why he does it. No, it's because it's MJ. That's why he does it, and we're gonna back him up no matter what we gotta say, because he's one of the greatest of all times.
Hold on, whoa, hold on. Two things can be true. You can have people that are like saying that are just that are standing for their artists or actor, whoever, right? But then it could also be that there's, I mean, in our community, we're really only beginning to acknowledge the importance of mental health over the last, 5 years, maybe? Not even?
Give or take, yeah.
So I do think that that could be true. That I think, looking back in hindsight, it's easy for us to say that the for Michael Jackson's the way he grew up played a role into the person that he became. I mean, being a star as a child, it doesn't seem like that's healthy for anybody. Growing up in abusive households, we know that doesn't help anybody.
Just more excuse.
But is it an excuse in that sense?
You just said it. Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like you got. I'm just saying. I was agreeing with you that we make excuses for people we like. I agree with you, and then you just displayed it. I brought up MJ, and out of nowhere, you gave a Class A argument on why you about to take this thing to trial for MJ.
Well, no, my point is, I guess I don't have a point. I guess my question is, what line is it between acknowledging mental health and making excuses? Like, where's that line? Or is mental health a perfectly acceptable excuse?
Not if you're not gonna get help.
I think that's easier said than done, though.
I'm listening. Not disagreeing at all. I was just making a statement.
You're like, you ain't gonna get me canceled.
Like, I mean,
not yet. I ain't Beyonce yet.
I'm just saying though, like, because I think back, I mean, for one, and you could say it's because of his stardom and lifestyle and whatever, but to cover your kids up with blankets in public.
Didn't he name a kid Blanket?
Yes. But
that's off topic.
He was out in Paris hanging one of his kids over the balcony like this, just playing. And like it wasn't like he was doing it like he was gonna drop him, but it's still for anybody, it's like anything could happen in that moment.
Yeah, man.
That's not something but it's Michael. He built an amusement park and he got to have exotic animals, and so it was just another thing he did. And I wouldn't say it was off subject, because like I said, we're just talking about erratic behavior and just different people, different stars who essentially came from some sort of trauma and did different things and had different outcomes. And we embrace and accept each and every one of them differently. And when we're tired of them, we cast them away. Or if they're not serving us no more purpose. Or if their error that they had, is kind of up there in age and is not really following with the times. So you don't have the support that you had once. Like you said, you get your time in the light, and then you help somebody else come up through.
I'm mad you used wrestling.
You used it, you know what I'm saying? I just went on ahead and reused it.
Man.
But nah, I mean, with real talk, I think we're getting too involved. I agree with, everything you said, where we make excuses for the ones that we are more biased to, or we like more, should we say.
And you know what? It doesn't just go for like celebrity personalities. It goes for people in our everyday life.
Oh, yeah. We do this with pastors, with sports stars. You know what I'm saying? When if you a jock in the high school, or you know what I mean.
People do this for their kids.
Yep.
They do it for their spouses. They do it for their siblings. They do it for their parents. Right? Listen, if you are a person, I'm gonna just say this right now. If you're a person and you got a family member that you know has said some racist things, and you're like, they're just old, they don't understand. You've made an excuse, and therefore you have enabled them to be racist. Ooh, I may have pinched a couple nerves. If you got an uncle or somebody that is abusing alcohol or abusing drugs, and when I say abusing, you know what I mean. If I struck a chord with you when I use the term abusing, you know what I mean, right? Because I'm not judging what nobody does with their personal life or what they want to do with their body. But if you make excuses instead of telling that person, hey, like I think you need some help, right? Or oh, they just like to party, they just like to have a good time. You're making excuses for that person. If you know if you know that there's a man beating on his wife, or if you are a wife and you're letting a man beat on you, and, he just gets mad. He really loves her. He really loves me. You're making excuses for that person. And listen, like, I'm not saying these things with the intention of attacking people that are dealing with these things in real life. But I'm calling a spade, absolutely. And it's not behaviors don't change without something to force the change. It's not going to just like wake up and a person's just going to wake up and be different. You're not just going to wake up and be a different person. Something's going to have to happen to compel that person to change their ways. And it might be something uncomfortable. It might be something I have to sit them down and humble them, right? But something has to happen. Like, and the first step of accountability is call it out what's wrong. And that's really what it comes down to is, listen, if I do something wrong, tell me about it. It might hurt my feelings.
Be all right.
But there's accountability. There's love and accountability. If you love me, you want to see me do better, you're gonna tell me, yo, this is what you need to do better. I don't think this is a good look for you. I don't think this is what you need to be rocking with. I don't think this is what you need to be doing. Right? Because trust and believe. But I think you can do something differently. I'm gonna tell you. And I don't mean to be a jerk about it when I do it. It's not my intention, but this is how we're gonna do it. I mean, and I don't really necessarily know how we landed here, but don't make excuses for bad behavior from the people you love or the people you know. Because that's a big thing that divides us as well. It's how can you support this person? How can you like this person? How can you listen to this person? And like there needs to be some understanding on both sides. I'm not saying it's okay to throw people out of your life because they disagree with you. That's absolutely not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that if somebody's doing something wrong, speak up. Say something. And if somebody tells you that you're doing something wrong, try not to focus on the fact of how it was delivered. Try to get the message. I think that's all I got, bro.
Yeah. Sums it up.
So, y'all know what to do. Follow the show at Whus Hattnin on all socials, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me at Archbishop Swag on all the platforms. I'm probably not going to accept your follow requests on Instagram. But you can follow me. I appreciate you following me. I mean, you can hit the request. I appreciate the request. And then you can follow Fred at Mr.Humble_beginnings. I know his social better than he do. And if you like what we do, share the show with a friend or family member. Let them know about us. Leave us a 5-star rating in your podcast app. Help us to continue to grow this show to get more followers. Engage us in conversation. Use the hashtag Whus Hattnin on any social media platform. And we out. We're going to be back next week. We got some good stuff coming up for the month of March. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys continue to enjoy the show. We appreciate y'all continuing to listen to us, rock with us, and we will see you then.
Peace.